Hey everybody, welcome back to the layout. This is going to be a little update. Haven't had an update one out for a couple weeks and probably won't have one out again until after the first of the year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. If I don't talk to you, I'm not sure if I'll get another video out or not due to a bunch of family plans. Anyhow, so overall the layout, what's going on. I know there's a series on this industrial park, but we did get some roads down. So next thing we need to do is finish the roads and get some decals on there. Highways and byways, you guys haven't used that, you got to check it out. The big decision was made to remove the lumberyard from here, and I'll show you where it's going. And this is going to be a junkyard, and that's going to be the spur track. And Vinny will, when he gets to it, make me a junkyard to fit in there. So that was a big decision. Just not enough room for a junkyard or for a lumberyard as big as I wanted. The rock line, which I don't talk about very much, is starting to get some attention. This line goes all the way around the layout. And the reason I call it the rock line is because this is where the railroad gets their ballast. And that is the loader for right now. And I have the conveyor belts and everything. I just haven't put them up yet. And then we'll put those in there, throw some scenery down, ballast this track because it only has one switch. And that's a hand throw, and it goes all the way around the layout. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to ballast and be done with that. There's some rocks that go on this wall right here over this tunnel. That'll be coming up pretty soon. So then I started building this town of Palco, and I noticed that when I was down here sitting, that the whole town really comes alive when you're down at this angle. And I think a lot of videos, personally, should be shot down here, especially if you're switching. A lot of times they're held up here, and you can't really get an overall of what it really looks like. You know, this will be a street right here, and then you have a crossing that goes here. And that gives you the real feeling of being in town. There's some buildings missing. I still haven't found them yet. And I have a couple gas stations on order. So, but I noticed that when I put my streets on the cork, I have to put my buildings on cork too, so everything's even. So I'm just filling up all this open wood area with cork. I kind of ran out. But there will be a street that goes in each end of the town. Now this area right here, this opening you see, that's going to be the lumberyard. And the new spur track has started to be installed. The switch was cut in, and it's going to go up here, and then there's a Y switch that goes right there, and then there's a track that goes this way, and there's a track that goes that way, and then there's buildings that go right here, and Vinny will have to build those one day. I got some of my buildings out, so I found my headquarters. I just need a little decals on there. My pedestrian bridge overpass. And my yard towers. That's going to be my UPS freight building. I just haven't had a chance to get that switched over. I got my ethanol train out. Ready to rock and roll. Anyhow, I did that. This Palco is coming along. So, a lot of streets to put in, a lot of highways and byways to put in. Get that done. And this is going to be Hayes Propane right here. I got a couple loaders coming eventually one day from Vinny. He's going to make those too. And this is Plainville propane, that goes here. So, other than that, nothing really left to do. My track is 98% complete. So, this rock line that goes all the way around, all the way out there and all the way around the layout, I think I'm going to clean it up and get it ready and test it and ballast it and work my way from the back to the front. And there's a lot of these areas that don't have automatic switches, like this grain area in Plainville. And that I'm going to ballast that too. There's no reason why not to ballast these areas that have hand throw switches and get that done so I can put some scenery in here. That is not where Hayes Auto Parts Warehouse goes, but I had to move it because I was working. Anyhow, this is a fields and houses and farmhouses going here. Static grass, all that. I'm going to start by doing all that, filling that in, and then whatever I got left, I'll probably just put grass or hills or mountains. These little hills you see back here in the corner, here's one. There's a radio antenna that goes here. So I'm going to build that, drill a hole, pop an antenna in there. And then some of this area back in here is just probably grass. So stuff like that. Like I said, 98% of the track's done except for that lumber yard. So it's time to get the scenery stuff out, get it all cleaned up, get it ready, and do some ballasting. There's where the other hill is, and that also has a radio antenna on it. And this is in Kansas City, they have one like that. And the one you saw before, they have Hayes, they have one like that. So the yard's done. All the track is done. And that's another thing that can be ballast, but I don't want to do that until very last because I have a lot of work to do back in here. I got to finish those roads. There's the entrance to the industrial yard. I'm sorry, until the intermodal yard. So there's a lot of work still to be done streetwise. So I don't want to ballast this until I get that done. So the old trick, you know, work backwards to forward because we all know what happens. All right, you guys, like I said before, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm going to probably take a couple Saturdays off to spend with the family and friends coming into town and start gathering up all my scenery stuff and start collecting my ballast stuff and get it ready. I'll tell you what, there is one thing in model railroading, I've been doing it for 20 years. I cannot stand doing ballasting. There is no real easy way. So if anybody knows a good new trick that I haven't heard of, I'd be glad to hear it. All right. Okay, there's like over 200 subscribers now, and I'm hoping to get more than just 6 comments. It's always the same 6 people, which I appreciate. But when you have 200 subscribers and you only get 6 comments, kind of defeats the purpose of making a video. All right, guys, have a good holiday. We'll talk to you next year. Out.